left is March 1st. The calendar has turned, and with it, the resolution season has officially ended. The gyms are emptier, the New Year planners are gathering dust, and the world has settled back into its old, mediocre rhythms. But for the machine, March is not an ending. It is the beginning of the deep build. The first 60 days were about surviving the shift. The next 30 are about mastering the output. There is a psychological trap that catches almost everyone at this stage, the illusion of busyness. You think that because you are working hard, you are winning. But the truth is far more clinical and unforgiving. Most of your efforts are statistically irrelevant. This is the reality of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. It states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. In today's deep dive, we are breaking down the 80-20 rule for life. We are exposing why your grind might actually be a waste of time and how to transform from a reactive dreamer into a proactive executor by identifying the vital few. Most people are addicted to the feeling of being busy. They treat every email, every meeting, and every minor task with equal urgency. In March, this leads to the spring burnout. You've been pushing for 2 months, and because you haven't seen 100% return on your 100% effort, you feel exhausted. But the math was always in your favor if you knew where to look. The 80-20 rule isn't a suggestion, it is a law of nature. Whether it's the global AI infrastructure shifts of 2026, focusing on quality over quantity, or the way your own muscles grow, the biggest gains always come from the smallest, most intense points of pressure. If you want to move the needle this month, you must stop obsessing over the 80% of tasks that yield 20% of the results. Let's look at a case study of the Pareto audit in professional sports. A performance coach analyzed the training regimens of elite endurance athletes heading into the spring season. He discovered that 80% of their actual performance gains came from just 20% of their high-intensity interval training, while the rest was merely maintenance. The athletes who tried to go all out on every single run actually saw their performance decline due to fatigue. By identifying the specific 20% of workouts that triggered the most physiological adaptation, they were able to train less but achieve significantly higher results. This is the blueprint for the machine-like grind. You don't need more hours in March, you need more impact per hour. The machine-like grind requires a surgical level of focus. It requires the discipline to say no to the 80% of things that seem important but aren't vital. For the proactive executor, the goal is not to fill the day, but to dominate the moments that matter. Private goals are won in these narrow windows of high-leverage work. When you work in private on the vital 20%, you aren't distracted by the noise of the public world that values activity over outcome. You are building a version of yourself that functions like a high-precision instrument rather than a blunt tool. Consider the case study of a struggling sales team on March 1st of last year. Management demanded they make more calls, the busy approach. Results remained flat because the team was exhausted from a long winter. A new lead came in and applied the 80-20 rule. They analyzed the data and found that 80% of their revenue came from just 20% of their existing clients. Instead of making 100 cold calls a day, the team was instructed to spend 80% of their time deepening relationships with that top 20%. Revenue doubled in 30 days. They didn't work more. They worked on the right things. This is the power of the lead domino. When you find the one thing that makes everything else easier or unnecessary, you have found your 20%. The biological unreliability of feeling like doing the work is less of a problem when the work is highly effective. It is easy to lose motivation in March when you are doing a mountain of busy work with no visible return. But when you focus on the vital 20% and see massive results, the dopamine hit is authentic. You aren't tricking yourself with social media likes. You are seeing real-world progress. This creates a sustainable momentum loop. You see the needle move, which fuels your discipline to tackle the next high-leverage task. You stop being a reactive dreamer who waits for inspiration and start being a proactive executor who follows the data. To master the art of the machine-like grind through the 80-20 rule, you must implement a vitality audit for this new month. Step 1. Track every action you took in February. Step 2. Identify which of those actions directly resulted in progress toward your primary goal. Step 3. Brutally eliminate or delegate the bottom 80% for March. Step 4. Double down on the 20% that actually works. This is how you transform. This is how you build resilience. The world doesn't reward you for how tired you are, it rewards you for what you produce. The blueprint is simple, but the execution is hard because it requires you to ignore the urgent for the important. You must become comfortable with the 80% of noise being left behind. Let the world stay busy with the trivial. You have work to do. The machine doesn't waste energy on friction. It channels everything into motion. Keep your head down, find your 20%, and let your results be the only thing the world sees. Be the machine. Focus the power. Master the rule. It's March 1st. The crowds have left, and the real work begins. If you're ready to stop wasting 80% of your life on things that don't matter, hit the like button and commit to the vital few. Leave a comment below with the one 20% task you are focusing on this month. Subscribe to join a community of proactive executors who value impact over activity. Your time is finite. Make it count.